Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So today we are diving into the crazy world of Star Wars rumors. During these down periods where there is very little Star Wars content, it's always fun to discuss the latest so-called rumors and leaks. Now today's information comes from the same source who told us that various Mandoverse directors had pitched their own Star Wars movies to Lucasfilm. So do take this with a huge grain of salt. But I also want to acknowledge that to my mind, this rumor does sound pretty legit, likely to be true, just based on what we know about certain creatives, the positions they hold at Lucasfilm, and things they've said. So apparently, one of Dave Filoni's upcoming Star Wars projects is not what you expect. Not only did he produce on The Mandalorian and Grogu, not only is he writing his own future movie, Ahsoka Season 2, I'm sure he worked on more Shadow Lord, but according to the rumor, he is also creatively involved in the new Jedi Order movie, the Rey film, which according to multiple sources, is going to start filming in spring of next year, 2026.
We'll see about that.
Now they say the Rey movie, which I believe is being written by George Nolfi, but it could also include Star Wars Starfighter given the recent rumors, and the Simon Kinberg trilogy. They say Dave Filoni is so involved, it's surprising he doesn't have a co-writing credit, so it's a bit like his work in The Acolyte. Now to some of you this might come as a surprise. If I had heard about this a year ago, I too would have been shocked. Dave Filoni is not the first person that comes to mind when you think about Rey, but the fact of the matter is, now that Dave Filoni is Chief Creative Officer, he has to give his stamp of approval for every single project, and that includes the Rey stuff. He and Carrie Beck are second only to Kathleen Kennedy herself, and Dave's role at the company has been expanding for many years. But don't be fooled into thinking this is just a formality. I reckon his involvement with the Rey stuff goes well beyond his job title, and there is a lot of evidence to back this up. It might be uncomfortable to hear this as a Star Wars fan, but Dave is, and always has been, a Rey fan. I'm not saying this to be inflammatory, I'm not saying this in any pejorative way, I'm not saying how dare he like the character, I'm just pointing out the facts. He had a huge say creatively for episode 9, he was part of story group meetings since The Force Awakens. It's very clear that Dave supports continuing Rey's story. Don't be fooled into thinking there is disparity between Dave's vision and the vision of Kathleen Kennedy. They have so often aligned, and at no point has Dave protested. There was a brief moment around 2020 where it looked as though maybe The Mandalorian was trying to retcon aspects of the sequel trilogy, and maybe John and Dave were trying to set up a different timeline, but so much has happened since, and I think all of those theories nowadays are completely defunct. Dave has fully supported everything that's been going on. Now you might give the rebuttal, well Meg, Kathy is his boss, what's he expected to do? Of course he's going along with it. Of course he's trying to appease her so he can keep making his own projects, so Ahsoka can have a season 2, so one day he can have his own movie. Of course he's going to be a yes man. Now while there might be some truth to this, Dave at every turn has defended the sequel trilogy. We are well beyond the years of bogus rumors of an internal war at Lucasfilm. Dave has not only stood by the Rey stuff, but he's endorsed it, even including Rey and Kylo's voices in The World Between Worlds. But, having said all of this, as the old expression goes, actions speak louder than words. And while Dave Filoni is not going to retcon the sequel trilogy, and while he's been very praising of it, I think it's pretty clear from decisions he's made in Ahsoka, with Grand Admiral Thrawn, decisions he made in The Mandalorian, with the Shadow Council, with Brendol Hux, with cloning. Dave is trying to enhance the sequel trilogy. John and Dave are both trying to expand the pre-Force Awakens universe, showing us events that make the sequels make a bit more sense. And I truly believe we're going to see this on full display in his own film. So he likes those movies and he likes Rey, but Dave Filoni is a very smart man. He knows how the fandom felt about 7, 8 and 9, so I think he's trying to do damage control. The Rey movie's a bit different because it's post episode 9, but if Dave worked on it, if he brings his A game, this could be the best Rey we've gotten so far. He consulted on the sequel trilogy, he's made parallels between Ahsoka and Rey in the past, and he once described her as the female version of Luke. And then he's made comments like this. Take a listen.
What we found was this amazing thing. It will shock none of you. That when you create a strong, independent, intelligent character that shows no fear, that can do amazing things, boys and girls like her. This is what we tried to do with the Star Wars saga now. We've tried to create more female characters that can represent so many things, because what we're trying to do isn't just create one type of character. We're trying to create a diverse range of characters, especially female characters that are strong, that are independent. When you look at Rey on The Force Awakens, she's a female lead in a whole new chapter of the Star Wars saga. We haven't done a movie for 10 years, and here comes a Star Wars film, and here comes Rey. And what is it? Is it Panic in the Streets? Oh my gosh, a female lead in a Star Wars movie. And then the trailer for Rogue One comes out, and it's another female lead. Oh my gosh, how unfair. We've had probably like 2 million straight film cinematic roles where men have been leads, and now we've done 2 in a row that are women. Well, too bad. Oh well, maybe there are more coming. This idea that we just made one of those. Made one of what? We just made a female lead. We can make another one. Really? Yes, we can. There's more than one woman in the world. There's more than one woman here in the world. Why is that so strange? If we made 5 men heroes in a row, no one would blink. Rey, she impresses Han Solo. He's like the guy's guy, impresses him, impresses everybody in the audience. She goes up with Kylo Ren. She punks him right away. He's supposed to be this great guy, wiped out all these people. I don't know. She took that lightsaber and was like, I'm going to take you out. And she did. And I'm all for it. And she looks strong. It's not that she doesn't show any fear. This is an intense moment in her life, and we're there with her because of that, because she's a real feeling dimensional person. Kind of just like Luke, all he did was open that door, right? He just opened that door. I just want to be a part at Lucasfilm of opening this door to a new generation of filmmakers, of women that come into Lucasfilm and can be creative. It's a strong future for Star Wars. It won't just stop with 2 movies. It's something we're dedicated to for the foreseeable future.
Now look, I think Dave Filoni generally has been a force for good at Lucasfilm. I really appreciate his work on Rebels, The Clone Wars, Episode 1 of The Bad Batch, co-creating Grogu and the Mandoverse. I love Ahsoka. On paper, you might call me a Dave Filoni fan, but I've also criticised him for various creative choices. For example, I have my gripes with Count Dooku in The Clone Wars versus George Lucas's prequel trilogy, and maybe one day I'll make a video about that. Anakin in The Clone Wars, I've criticised. His depiction of Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Ahsoka, so I'm not saying he's perfect. But on the Rey front, Dave is all in. I'm sure he's over the moon to continue her character. He spoke with Pablo Hidalgo, John Knoll, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and it's even documented that Rian mentored Dave on the set of The Last Jedi, the most controversial of the sequel trilogy movies. And I'm not trying to bash Dave. All I'm saying is, if you're going to praise him, also acknowledge he is not separate from the current Lucasfilm creative team. He is the chief creative officer, so I'm really not surprised that he's involved in the Rey stuff and the new Jedi Order movie. Like I said, I've been hearing that they're going to film in spring of 2026, so this rumour coming out now actually makes sense. If the creative meetings have already been had, then this information would be no secret, that Dave Filoni was part of crafting that story. And just to address something that Filoni said in the clip I played, I don't think fans dislike Rey because she was a female lead. It's because of her story arc. Fans often criticize that she was overly skilled, without sufficient explanation, sufficient learning moments, sufficient hurdles, that she was often portrayed as an expert, even when flying the Falcon, with no experience, and of course the lack of a coherent plan to explain her parentage. They floated ideas around of her being a Kenobi, then they made her a nobody, and in the end, they made her Palpatine's granddaughter. And it's kind of funny because Dave debunks his own claim in the same sentence. He brings up Jyn Erso from Rogue One, who fans of the movie unanimously loved because she was a fantastically written character. The same would apply for characters like Bix in Andor. Andor wasn't made yet when Dave made these comments, but you can talk about Bix, you can talk about Clea, Vel. There are so many great examples, and I would argue, apart from a handful of exceptions, for most fans, gender has nothing to do with it. But yes, returning to the rumour, apparently Dave Filoni is going to be involved in the new Jedi Order. Is this good news or is it bad news? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.